with your presence and for that eloquent statement of some of the developments that have taken place since you assumed the presidency. Mr. President, when you look at the last 15 months, what are you happiest with in terms of achievements, and what are you least happy with?
Well, I think I'm happiest by the fact that our people have a new outlook. Whereas we were wondering if most of them were already apathetic. Some of them were totally jaded and cynical, who could not see any bright prospects in the country from roughly about the 15 or 16 months we've been in office. Now it seems we can do so many things. And the transformation is truly night and day. And with that attitude, we think there are no objectives that we cannot reach.
Thank you very much. You know, this change in mood was certainly very evident, Mr. President, when we had our discussion this morning with the question, can the Philippines be the next Asian tiger? And there was this mood of optimism throughout the room that with the new leadership and the new confidence, this was certainly a possibility. I'd like to invite questions and comments from the floor. There are questions and comments. Yes, Andy Lim. Andy Lim is from Singapore, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I'm Andy Lim. I'm a fund manager from Singapore. I was very heartened to hear from Senator Maroha this morning that you have made clean government, anti-corruption as a central theme in your government, and you have emphasized that in your speech, Jess. I'm just curious to know, are you satisfied with the progress made so far?
Satisfied? No. If we're satisfied, we'll slow down and slacken. I keep on pushing all of the agencies involved in the anti-corruption fight for the first conviction that we will be able to secure. But it has been making changes already. For instance, in my State of the Nation address, I made a point to state that corruption, not just in government sector, but also in the private sector, wherein we have so many professionals declaring incomes that were, shall we say, on the level of minimum wage. So I said, I was trying to shame people who were listening that were guilty of the practice that perhaps you should start paying your right taxes, so in as much as you are able to see where it actually goes, and that you are assured it doesn't go into pockets of a few people. Unfortunately, some of the ears I reached were not listening at that point in time. One of them in particular declared an income of roughly about 1.6 million pesos and proceeded to buy a 56 million condominium. I would like to know the name of his bank that would give him a loan of such an amount on such meager incomes. So since he didn't listen, we have to demonstrate the other side of governance, which is to impose the law. Charges are being filed against this individual and two others. And the result of which is a lot of professionals have suddenly remembered that they do have to issue receipts after doing their services. So we will not stop until such time that doing the right thing is always the norm.
Thank you, Mr. President. Another question or comment, Khairi Jamaluddin from Malaysia.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Khairi Jamaluddin from Malaysia. Related to that question, you're clearly a transformational leader, and you've placed great importance on anti-corruption and good and effective governance. My question to you, Mr. President, is for politicians, I'm a member of parliament, we often look at our own political longevity. And what you're doing in the Philippines today to transform this country may upset a lot of vested interests. And as you said earlier in the holding room, sometimes you feel very lonely. What is it that drives you, and are you not concerned for your own political future in upsetting too many people? Thank you.
Under the Constitution, I'm limited to one term. And precisely that was put into the Constitution to free the incumbent from any political considerations down the line. So I think that's the beauty of the system. Am I upsetting a lot of vested interests? Yes. But the fact that what are we trying to change in society? And it's good that you come from Malaysia. Our problems in Mindanao, our Commission on Audit did an audit on the autonomous regions of Muslim Mindanao's governance. And their findings indicate questions on about 80% of the disbursements. Can I emphasize that? 80%, 80. Okay. So in my State of the Nation address, to try to dramatize it, I said, there's this young kid. He wants to educate himself. He ventures on a road ostensibly existing, but is actually a ghost road. The money was all pocketed. trying to get to a school that is also in the books, but turns out to be a ghost school, and gets sick in the process, attends a rural health unit that exists, again, only on paper. So this guy with real dreams wound up traveling on a ghost road to go to a ghost school, attended by ghost teachers, and also attended by rural health practitioners. So the status quo gives one a dejection of spirit, as to try and improve his lot. Fuels the secessionist or the rebellion movement or even banditry. And that has affected our relationships with Malaysia, our country. So what are we trying to do? I'm clearly focused that by 2016, June 30 of 2016, about 11 p.m., I stepped down. And by the time I stepped down, I look at our country and say the changes are so much that we can hardly recognize what we're leaving compared to what we found. Now, I'm fortunate that I have a very strong cabinet and a lot of political allies who share the same vision. And I guess maintaining the status quo just ensures our mediocrity as a people and the lack of opportunities that will lead down to more and more problems down the line. So we have been given a chance. Our campaign was fueled by the people. We are now returning that belief in, and we're turning it into a reality. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Another question for the President. Yes, gentleman over there.
Thank you very much. My name is John Bisi from Ghana, a student of AIM. Mr. President, how would you describe your management style? Are you hands-on or more comfortable dedicating responsibility to trusted executives? Thank you very much.
The Philippine bureaucracy, for a population of 95 million, has 1.3 million bureaucrats. If I were to supervise all of them even partially, I think I would not be able to do anything else. So I've gotten a lot of members in the cabinet in particular who are acknowledged experts in their respective fields. I give them the policy directions, I monitor what they're doing, and if somebody slips on the outside schedules and tasks, then I call their attention to it. But at the same time, I do not think I should be crowding anybody whilst doing their particular assignments. If I were to do that, then it would have been better if I were to take upon that portfolio myself. So the best way to do it is give clear directions, check on them periodically, and call to the attention those that are not meeting the assigned tasks and schedules.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Another question for the President? Yes. Soken from Cambodia.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm Ken from Cambodia. In our discussion this morning, as Dato Timothy mentioned, we discussed about whether the Philippines can be the next Asian tigers. I know you touched on this issue in your keynote address, but what do you think is the biggest challenge for the Philippines today? Thank you.
Well, we are inheriting, shall we say, a reputation from the past where it was deemed that doing business in the Philippines was akin to carrying on the burdens of job. What we're trying to do is, number one, as far as businesses are concerned, we're trying to show a level playing field, which means basically that the rules apply to everybody. He who proposes the best formula, the best product, wins the day. What we're trying to do is unlock the potential that has always been in our country. And to do that, basically, is, again, the transparency, the accountability, and the clear-cut and hopefully not changing policies and rules and regulations. Now, that provides a necessary environment whereby businesses are attracted, the economy grows, the people, whilst having an improved standard of living, are also given a lot more opportunities, specifically for learning, for better health, and so on and so forth, that produces an even better workforce. And our human resource is something that we think is the singular advantage that the Philippines has. And what we're doing basically is to provide that environment for both businesses and for peoples, to be able to achieve their highest potential.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a question from Michael Enright who is one of the region's leading experts on competitiveness. Michael. And yes, Dr. Bayu. Maybe Dr. Bayu first, and then Michael. Dr. Bayu from Indonesia, Mr. President.
Mr. President, my name is Dr. Bayu from Indonesia. I would like to ask your policy towards the corruption that has been done previous to your administrations. Are you prosecuting them, or are you just taking prevention against the future corruptions? Thank you.